Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Fanatic at soundsforproducers.com. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Thank you for the subscribers and thank you for checking out another episode of From A to Z with the dope producer, Zaytoven. I'm going over the book chapter by chapter and just kind of plucking elements that I thought would benefit you. So today's chapter is about knowledge, and of course we all can use some. So anyway, check out the episode. So once again, thank you to the subscribers. Really appreciate y'all for being a part of it. If you haven't subscribed by now, please hit the sub button, click the bell as well, so that way you're alerted to see more videos that are posted. I've been going for a minute, but I'm back and thought I'll finish off the series by finishing this book, and we'll probably jump into some more beat making videos and some more strategies and techniques and whatnot. Of course, there's a bunch of links in the description for loop packs, as far as a free loop pack as well, a Cayenne loop pack. You need to get that. Put a lot of work into that. Also, pretty much every product is just so many hours into it. And shout out to everybody showing love on Instagram, man. If you don't know by now, I said it in other videos, but it's all good. If you make a beat or whatever, or some type of musical idea or melody, whatever, with our sounds, you definitely get a free repost, and we definitely show you love. So anyway, today's chapter is about knowledge, and I believe it's chapter, don't get me wrong, chapter 11, and it's a short chapter. Most of the chapters are short in the book. It's a good, quick read. Like I said before, I think I got it on Amazon, or just Google it and you'll see the sources of where to get it. I think he's working on a second book, but I'm not sure. So shout out to Zaytoven for all his great knowledge, man. If you ever see my videos, whether it's this channel or my producer channel. So producers, I do this for y'all. I like to inspire, I like to give knowledge, I like to just kind of open your mind to things that you tend to forget, and that's what this is all about. This is about knowledge. It's not about, it's all fun to make the dopest beats, it's all fun to do sound design, it's fun to just make drums bang like crazy, but without certain knowledge of production, you're cutting yourself short. There's other avenues, other things that you can learn. So hopefully this inspires you and also opens your mind up to different things. So he starts out with a Bible verse for most of the chapters. So I'm gonna just read that off to get things popping. Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment. Proverbs. So let me just jump into the chapter here. To know is to have power. If you're equipped with the right knowledge, you can have, do, and be anything you want. If you had access to an exclusive industry party with some of the top players that could take you to the next level, would you know who they were? If showing up is half the battle, then knowing is the other 50%. It doesn't matter if you go to all the right functions. If you don't know who to talk to or what to say, as well as not to say, you might as well stay home. That first paragraph, man, I've been in several different events where I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what to say. I just show up and just be myself. I highly suggest that, because putting yourself out there, you never know who you run into. But you gotta be like loose where you can verbalize a normal conversation with somebody. Because I've been in places where they're like, super producers, man, that just I don't know how I got to some of these places, but I've been around people that are a lot higher than me as far as career wise, and not being a normal person, like you're just shook or whatever, or not knowing what to say, it is very important, because they'll remember, like, yo, who's that person you brought? You know what I'm saying? Or who's that dude over there? So you definitely got to know who's there and who you're talking to, or at least be with somebody that can introduce you to people. That's key, because it's a small network, and a lot of the producers know each other and they know of each other's camps or whatever. But yeah, the other 50% is knowing who they are. You need to know how your industry works, the trends, what artists are looking for beats, what the latest equipment is, who the new producers are, what your target client or audience wants to hear. That's very important. You can't just, I know we're all producers, we love making whatever we want. I love making whatever I want. But you gotta kind of adapt in a way, because you know what I do? Here's some good advice. What I do, I'll make like 2 or 3 beats what my target audience wants. I know what type of sounds they like. I know the type of cadences or drums that they like. And they play it, yo, that's hard, yo. Oh man, let me get that beat. I already knew what they wanted because, there's ways of finding out what's popular. And always look at the top charts. I mentioned this in other videos, but a good way is to look at top selling beats on whatever platform you use, whether it's Airbit or BeatStars. Look at what's selling, and then you can always make your own version of that, tweak it a little bit, change the sounds around, change the key, whatever. But that's a quick way of getting what your target audience wants, whether it's hip hop, R&B, pop, or whatever. Find out what people want, and then you can target those specific people. And that's a good way of doing it. Also, like, I don't like to say Billboard all the time because usually Billboard, it's always behind the trend. Like, it's kind of like, being a DJ, I hear songs way before people hear them, and I know it's gonna be a hit. And I've been playing it for 6 months, and all of a sudden someone finally hears it, and then it ends up on the radio, then it ends up on Billboard. So I'm like, man, I knew about that 9 months ago. I knew where it was gonna go. So what was my point? See, this is when I get on tangents. So basically, target audience. You gotta know what your target audience wants. And then what I do is I'll make like 3 or 4 beats, whatever, target audience, and then 3 or 4 beats for myself. So I have a balance because we're creatives, what that thing's doing. We're creatives. So we definitely want to satisfy both parts. Your audience, you want to make money, but also being a creative, you want to try different things for yourself, for your own creative growth. So that's what I do. Hopefully, you can utilize that and help you out. Let's see. You need to know how your industry works, the trends, what artists are looking for beats, what the latest equipment is, who the new producers are, what your target client or audience wants to hear. They don't call it a grind for nothing. You got to do your homework and consistently stay prepared. And if for whatever you don't know, ask, research, or read a book on the subject. To not know, especially in this digital era, and with search engines like Google at your fingertips, is inexcusable. Stay on top of what changes are being made in the industry. Know the language of the business. Don't be lazy in learning and getting a full understanding of how things work. Y'all know who you are. Don't be lazy at learning. Some people just want things handed to them constantly, or you might think you know everything, and that's when it's bad, when you think you know everything. Man, I've been producing for 20 years, man, but how many beats have you sold? You know what I'm saying? Or is anybody buying your music? Or is anybody interested in your music? How many plays do you have? I mean, stuff like that. Don't be so close-minded, or what is this thing doing? Oh, whatever. Don't be so close-minded where, you're not open to receive a different way of how to do things, whether it's musically or business-wise. And learning is a lifelong journey. You can never stop learning. I'm still learning to this day. I mean, I'm reading books I never thought I would ever read in my life, but they're outstanding. And I'm just soaking in all this knowledge, whether, it's YouTube, books, whatever. You know, there's constant knowledge out there. So know what you want. If you were offered an opportunity that could change your life, would you know it? See? What kind of music do you want to produce? Hip hop, EDM, pop, country, rock, blues, R&B. Even though I knew I could and would venture out into other genres, I made my mark in hip hop. I think it's important to establish yourself in one genre first, the one you're most passionate about, before you branch out. And I totally agree with that, because what you're doing is focusing all your energy into one genre, and you want whatever you're passionate about, follow it basically. Don't do it because everyone else is doing it. And I know that's a contradiction, because what I was saying earlier about you know, finding your target audience for those specific type of beats. Now you got to have a balance, because that's a business mindset to target specific customers, but also you want to follow what you're passionate about. So that's how I was saying have a balance, because I'm passionate about pushing the music boundaries a different way than just typical trap beats all day, or whatever. I made trap beats with totally different sounds that I'd never heard in a trap beat, but that's the type of things I like to do. I like to do things a little unorthodox, but don't get it twisted, because you definitely want to do what you're passionate about, because you don't want to end up like making the type of music the rest of your life that you don't want to make. That is a terrible place to be. Don't concern yourself with being pigeonholed. People will want to work with you regardless, as long as you're making quality music. Sean Garrett tapped me to work with him on Usher's album. Jagged Edge reached out to me for beats for their project, as did R. Kelly. Organized Noise, back in the day, were mostly known for working with rap groups like Outkast and Goody Mob. Yet, they went on to produce one of the biggest singles for R&B Quartet and Vogue. If you make dope beats, the right people will come looking for you, but you must identify what you want. Know your strengths. What are you really good at? When you answer that question, do that all the time until you master your craft. You will most likely meet success in your area of strength. Now, we're all multi-talented in numerous ways, but we also have a special gift that, if we hone in on with laser-like focus, can unlock riches beyond our imaginations. I forgot about this chapter. Know what people think of you. Reputation is everything. According to Warren Buffett, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. What are people saying about you and your business? While it's best to maintain a good name in the streets and in the corporate offices by doing excellent work and fair business, if that's not the case, ask people whose opinions you trust for feedback. The answers you receive can give you invaluable insight on how you can improve and jumpstart the process of turning your brand reputation around immediately. Man, yo, your brand, like, the industry is so small that, you know, you're doing shady stuff where you're like, I can go down a list, but you know who you are if you're doing shady stuff. Like producers selling other producers' beats, artists straight jacking beats and then claiming they produced it, artists getting beats with hooks on them and saying that's their vocals on the hooks that were pre-recorded, producers jacking other producers' beats and claiming they produced it, producers doing collabs and then changing one thing and doing like a 80-20 split, just messed up stuff. Like you cutting corners like that catches up to you, and people will find out what type of business you do, and you're marked for life. You know, do good business. You'll get further in your career, and be honest with it, be positive about it. Like even like with collabs, just communicate like, yo, I know you did most of the beat, what split would you? Ask them, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's tons of other beats you can make. Your reputation is vital in this business. Even if you partner with somebody on a partnership, like doing some work or whatever, It's very, very, very extremely important. So moving on. Know who you're dealing with. I think because I've dealt with a lot of street guys, and based off my character alone, I've always done my best to do what I said I would do and when I said I'd do it. People don't like to play about their money or time, so handle both with care. People don't like playing with their money or time, so handle both with care. Man, I should put that on the screen for you. Know who you're doing business with and always be clear about what's expected before money changes hands. All money is not worth having. I've turned down bread because I knew from other people's experiences how certain folks got down with business that I wasn't comfortable with. Remember that. If it sounds too good or you feel uncomfortable, don't do it. I mean, research the person that you're doing business with also, you know. Look at their prior work. Maybe find somebody they worked with before. You know, there's tons of ways that you can research people. Know what you're signing. Oh my God. Yes, know what you're signing. Never, ever, 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 under any circumstance, should you sign any document without letting an attorney, your attorney, review it first. Read that again and again until you commit it to memory. I can't stress this point enough. I've seen friendships, both business and personal, ruined all because of a signature or lack of one on a sheet of paper. I don't care how good something sounds or what somebody promises you or hypes you up about or how many unpaid bills you got. Do not ever sign anything without consulting your lawyer. You would think that people would know better than to blindly autograph a contract after countless examples of people getting influenced, tricked, or sued, but apparently not. Never let your current situation, no matter how dire, rob you out of your rights to future earnings. Don't cave in to the pressure. If that person can't understand your need for legal counsel before signing, or if they threaten to take a deal off the table unless you sign immediately, that's a red flag. Something isn't right. Be hungry for opportunities, but never starving. There are a lot of wolves out here who can smell the fresh blood of desperation. Don't be a victim. I'm just saying. Be a student first. I must admit that I didn't know how everything worked in the beginning, but I suggest that you learn from my mistake. You can never be too educated. Get all the information and knowledge that you can. Wow. That was a dope chapter. You're in the business of making music, and it's the music business. We all love the fun part of making music. I love it. And I'm making some music later on tonight. That came out crazy. It's a nice trap soul beat. But the business part, learn everything you can. Like, there's tons of material, tons of books all over Amazon. There's audiobooks, you know, if you don't have time to sit down and read, you know, while you're driving to work, you can listen to audiobooks. That's what I do. While you're traveling or whatever, educate yourself. Like, learn from producers that've done it before. It would be dope. Wow, this is an idea that just shot in my head, but I won't say it on camera because somebody might take my idea. So anyway, learn all you can, you know, with all the knowledge that's out there. You know, learn from producers that are up there in their career as far as, you know, like huge placements with commercials, Levi's, stuff on the Super Bowl, stuff with McDonald's. Like, learn from these producers. They had to sign a contract, and it'd be awesome for you to actually read that contract. There's sample contracts actually on the internet. You can find some. But as far as the lawyer thing, definitely there's cost-effective alternatives for lawyers, because I know not everybody on here can afford a lawyer. I mean, it depends, because sometimes they'll do stuff, you know, as like a lead and just give you a free look over this document or whatever. Sometimes they'll charge you by the hour and be like, yeah, that was $300 an hour or more. But as far as the lawyer thing, I think Rocket Lawyer is a good cost-effective way of doing it. RocketLawyer.com, so you might want to check that out. I don't know if they still do that, but it's always good to like have a social circle where you know there's an entertainment lawyer. And you can always find entertainment lawyers everywhere. Shout out to entertainment lawyers. Thank y'all for protecting music creators and our business. So anyway, yeah, I can't stress enough that knowledge is vital, especially the business side. And knowing like when you're going out to networking events, know who's gonna be there. Like know who's who. Yeah, man, I've been to like a couple events where I'm like staring at these producers and I'm like, yo, I know this cat. But the name wasn't in my head. I'm horrible with names. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, dude, you don't even know my name. Like, but you know, I did it tastefully. I wasn't like, you know, like a jerk. Like, what's your name? You know what I'm saying? You don't do that because they'll remember you forever. Especially, you know, if you're reaching up, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, knowledge, and never sign anything that you don't understand or you don't feel. And also, don't feel pressured to do anything. You know, there's, like you said, there's a lot of wolves out there. A lot of people want to take advantage of the young mind. I'm older now. If I was in this place, you know, young, 18, 19 producer, I wouldn't know what the hell I'm signing. I'd be like, how much I get? Sign. And then the next 10, 15 years of my life is jacked. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want to get locked where you can't make music for this person, for that company, for that artist. You just got to make music, and then they keep it, and then they shelf it, and your music never gets heard. That's a sad life. So you don't want that. All because you signed something for a bonus that you got a $500,000 bonus, but you have to actually earn it back through royalties. You didn't know that because you didn't read the contract. You see what I'm saying? Or you got a pub deal where, you know, basically they got all of your content for the next 10 years and they don't end up pitching anything and it doesn't recoup. Whatever, I can go on and on. But know what you're signing, and that's why knowledge is important among all things, not just, you know, production and music business. You know, knowledge of the mind is very, very, very powerful. That's why they say knowledge is power, and it really is. So anyway, there's your episode. I went over time a little bit, but I had to give you a little more because there's been a few days without posting. So anyway, again, it's DJ Fanatic, founder of soundsforproducers.com. There's a bunch of links in the description for loop packs, free loop pack as well. Make sure you cop that. Make something dope. Let me know. Tag us in the post or whatever, whether it's actually not just Instagram at Sounds for Producers, and you follow us there as well. And I did some reposts today on there, so check those out. And if you haven't subscribed, click the sub button, click the bell as well, so that way you're alerted to more videos, and give it a thumbs up if I said something that inspired you or gave you some type of knowledge. So I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.